Well, hey guys, how you doing today? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to talk in this video about the case of Gary, the former missile security guard at Minot Air Force Base in 1972 to 1974. You may have seen the previous video about it that I put up last year in 2017. And this is the case where Gary is patrolling near Velva, North Dakota, which is where the Minuteman III missiles were in the 1970s. And his job is to go around his particular launch control facility and make sure that the missiles are secured. And one evening, if you remember from the video, he tells us that he had heard reports of UFOs being in the area and had even seen what he thought were UFOs one evening where the base was put on alert. The whole Minot complex was put on alert, which is in charge of many launch control facilities, and they were able to see some anomalous lights up in the sky and later some jets trying to chase him. Well, another evening, he said there was an alarm that went off at one of the missile silos in the Velva complex. He and his other security guard in the security alert team truck were called out to look at it. As they went out there, he said a huge blinding UFO took off at least several hundred feet from the missile silo. And it just took off vertically. He said it was very large and very bright. It was so bright they actually couldn't discern a shape to the object. And he and his co-security guard were burned on the face, on the side, the right side, from the direction where the UFO was. They were in the truck with the windows up, I believe. They were still burned. As Gary told me, everything in the truck was discolored or burned from that encounter. We don't know what these energies are. It doesn't seem to have been radiation. Maybe it's a type of ultraviolet light. I don't know. Maybe you have some ideas of what this sort of energy could be. In any case, Gary went on to tell us that he radioed in what had happened. The base call told him to come back. He said he was told jets were scrambled. And a day or two later, he's called up to Minot Air Force Base. They have him hypnotized to try to find more information from him about what had happened. And then he's asked to sign something saying he'll never talk about it again. Well, I thought that was all there was to the incident until I talked to Gary a few days ago in April 2018. And Gary, I asked him if he had ever had any long-lasting health effects from this encounter. And I wish I'd actually asked him that a long time ago. I mean, this is over a year ago that I did the interview. And apparently he did, and I had never heard about this, so I thought I'd tell you. He said that immediately following the UFO encounter, he began having chest pains in the right side of his body, incidents of difficulty breathing, and a very anomalous growth that he said looked like a fist coming out of his right kidney. It wasn't cancerous or anything, but they didn't know what this growth was. The VA hospital, one of the VA hospitals, treated him out west here. They treated him for 16 years, from 1974 to 1990. And they recommended maybe he should have his kidney removed, but then that would cause issues later as he got older. He'd need dialysis, so he didn't. But the issue is that, curiously enough, the VA hospital said that they lost all of his records. Can you imagine 16 years of treatment? It doesn't sound believable. They simply lost any, because he's tried to get treatment recently for these conditions, which he still has. And the VA hospital in his local area now where he lives told him they can't find the records from the other hospital where he had 16 years of treatment. And they said it sounded fishy, his local VA hospital. So this reminded me a lot of the case of Jim Peniston and John Burroughs. You'll remember from the Rendlesham Forest incident in 1980. when these two military policemen respond to these reports of strange lights at the edge of Bentwaters base, the Bentwaters Woodbridge bases out there in the Rendlesham Forest. And they respond, and Burroughs actually went up and saw a triangular obsidian-colored object, and foolishly, he said later, he went up and touched it. And he had heart issues and vision issues ever since then. And in that case, the VA said that his records were classified, and he couldn't get treatment either. Very similar to Gary's case. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar, because here the VA hospital is saying, your medical records are classified from that 1980s incident, which never happened, because if you remember, the government later came to the conclusion that nothing of military significance had happened at Rendlesham, in the Rendlesham Forest, over those 3 nights in 1980, December 1980. And so, if nothing happened, why are the records classified? It doesn't make any sense. This is the issue that many of us have had with the way the government deals with UFO issues and encounters like this is, on one hand, they'll say nothing happened, and then the next thing they'll say, and you'll never talk about what never happened, so please sign this non-disclosure agreement. I mean, folks, this is cuckoo, okay? This is not tolerable. So here we have another former serviceman from the Air Force, similar to Peniston and Burroughs, different sort of job, missile security, not just general base security, though that is something that Gary did before he went into missile security. But here we have a very similar case where the VA isn't saying it's classified, they're just saying they don't have anything. After 16 years of treatment, we have no record of this person visiting our VA hospital. Now, in the case of John Burroughs and his injuries from Rendlesham Forest, you'll remember the Peniston and Burroughs and their attorney were at the citizen hearing in 2013. And we later found out that the VA did release their records after, I think, Congressman Merrill Cook got involved. I think also Senator Mike Gravel. Because those former congressmen and senator were there, they were able to contact the VA hospital, the VA themselves, and say, hey, what's going on here with this case? I mean, it always helps if you have people like that helping you out with your case. So Burroughs did, in the end, get his VA records, and I believe he got his treatment. So it just shows that you need to shed a little light on some of these cases to get any positive outcomes. So I just thought you'd find that interesting to show that there's a consequence of some of these encounters that people have with these unexplained aerial phenomena. There are cases of people having encounters with these objects where they feel healed. There's over 100 cases, apparently, of all over the world from many decades, maybe more now, of people getting healing effects from having encounters with these objects. But there are other cases where there are injuries. And that's why we need to know more about what is this phenomenon? What are we dealing with here? And why are people in the line of duty getting injured from encountering these objects? And when they do get injured, why can't we talk about it honestly and realistically and openly like any other topic, right? I'm sure you'd agree. So anyway, I just thought you'd be interested in that update. If you have anything to add, please put your comments in the box below. I always appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Take care for now, and bye.